going to like something that I wanted to bring up earlier, and it's something that like Grant Skeldon.
Yeah.
This is his like big thing, and I think it's funny that it relates here is, for me, I don't think it's always the case, but I think it feeds into it. Maturity definitely comes from the foundation of it is your relationship with the Lord, like your personal relationship with him, your alone time with him, your daily encounters, things like that. But also a key part of it that the Lord gave us is other people discipling you.
That's it. Yeah.
And for me, something that I want to encourage y'all with and commend y'all with in this, because it's been a conviction of mine related to other events, is as I see, which we see this in the Great Commission, and I think it's in Matthew and then in Mark, how it's worded two different ways. How one is saying go and preach the gospel, and then the other is go and make disciples of all nations, talking about the parallels of evangelism and discipleship. How evangelism is getting the word out there, and then discipleship is actually, once it's out there, like growing those roots deep.
Yeah.
And for me at least, and I think Grant agrees with it, probably you do as well, over the course of however many decades or years, I think us in this country, we've done a good job at some degree of evangelism.
Yeah.
To where it's like, okay, I don't know how many people in the country haven't heard of the name of Jesus.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I think we take that for granted sometimes. Because if we go to other countries like China, like me and Josue have been to, it's like, okay, not very many of them know Jesus. But the thing that we have not done well, which is what Grant, this is his mandate, is to make sure it's known as discipleship. Is that part of once we go to a city and have this huge gathering, making sure we stay there, making sure we continue to grow those people, making sure we equip those people to walk out this life in a manner that's worthy of their calling.
Yeah.
And with some events that we want to host over the next year, that's something that we want to do as well, is like make sure that like there are these practical things that we can give them to continue to walk out, rather than just having another conference that just is cool 2 or 3 days that we get on a spiritual high, and then just on Monday we're back on the same thing.
Yeah, I would say genuinely this is discipleship apart without evangelism, and its discipleship is not discipleship. Like you're not making disciples if you're not leading your disciples to go and be sent into sharing. And again, sharing the news, and you got to use your words, obviously. Like the Lord is the word. There's power in the word. The word itself, something about speaking. He spoke things into existence. He speaks life into people. You and I every day hear all the negative things. I always tell the guys I disciple at UT, I'm like, hey man, like you got to speak what you see. Why are you so scared to tell somebody what you see? So there is power in words, and there's power in the evangelion. There's power in your life shared. But discipleship, apart from leading the people you're discipling to share their faith and share it in all multitude of ways. Again, our problem is our paradigm is so stuck on it's this, or this, I believe, versus understanding that there's so many ways to be an evangelist. There's so many ways in this culture, in this world, to share the gospel. But the problem is when we are making disciples in this culture, discipleship a lot in our culture in America has in the past looked a lot like let's gather around, let's inwardly focus, and it's not very exteriorly focused. And so not having a mission orientation mind, not having, which you all obviously, like this podcast is all about that. But being outwardly focused in your lives, that your maturity and your growth as a follower of Jesus has to be about others. The two things at the end of the day, three maybe, because go love your neighbor as you love yourself. You need to have a care for yourself, but then go love your neighbor and go love the Lord your God with all your heart. Those are the three relationships, you, others, God, and that's the kingdom. It's those three relationships.